Good morning, everybody. My name is Pete, and you're watching P Life. Time to go to work, baby. So if you're new to the channel, be sure to check out our previous videos on various really cool sports cars and my 2018 991.2 Porsche 911 Carrera T. We've had some videos previously with the spec and ordering of the car, what it's like to drive and own. We've had some exhaust clips, the cold start, and some revs, and modifications, including today's video on installation of a Raceseng manual shift knob. But more on that a little bit later. And soon to come, installation of a Raceseng titanium slip-on muffler, as well as performance measurements and comparison videos of the T to other sports cars, including other Porsches and other brands. So I need to start this video by saying that Porsche manual transmissions are actually quite sublime, straight out of the factory, and there's very little to complain about. So really, why change the shifter, you may ask? So in the 991 generation of Porsche 911s, they debuted the 7-speed manual transmission. So this box comes with kind of this long rubbery shifter with a leather and faux chrome shift knob that actually looks pretty beautiful, but it's kind of a mess compared to the smooth, buttery 6-speed in the 997 and in the GT cars, as well as the 981 generation cars. And so the new 7th gear was actually meant for cruising and for fuel economy, but it has this lockout that makes it like impossible to engage 7th without literally kung-fuing your way in from only 5th or 6th. And although with the refresh of the 991.2 models, there were some improvements in the shifter feel, it's still possible to miss shifts, especially in the higher gears, and we're not paying attention, especially when you're rowing back and forth between 5, 6, 7, or if you're skipping gears. So if you're looking for a shift knob upgrade, there's several aftermarket brands like Function First and Renline, but I actually like sidearm shifting like this. So I went with one that wasn't spherical but more cylindrical, and this is made by Raceseng. Their products look and feel very high quality, and they actually have by far the most options and different designs compared to other manufacturers. I actually purchased this Raceseng shift knob from John at Flat 6 Motorsports. You can see the link below in the description. So Flat 6 Motorsports is a company that specializes basically in any type of aesthetic and performance Porsche modification you can think of. So I want to give a big shout out to John at Flat 6. It's been a real pleasure working with him both over the phone and by email, and highly recommend them. I definitely think you should check their website and their products out. So on a side note, these Raceseng shift knobs actually work not only for the Porsche 911, but they've got the same setup in the 981 and the 718 Cayman and Boxster. And so these knobs are interchangeable with respect to their adapters. And they also actually make a lot of the same shift knobs for older Porsches as well. So let's get right into the installation, shall we? So what's in this box from Raceseng? This is the Signature shift knob. Comes really nicely packaged. I'll show you the box contents here. Essentially what you get is 3 pieces. You get the zip tie, so you can reattach the shift knob to back onto your shift boot. And then this is the shift adapter. If you can see this here, it's threaded here, and all of these shift knob handles are interchangeable. And then it's got 4 screws, in these locations where it can attach to the shifting post. And this is pretty heavy actually. And the way that you interchange these is they're threaded and they screw onto this base, and you can get different types of and this is kind of the weighted part. You can get different types of knobs that just screw onto the base. Really nice, because if you want to change the look, you can actually just get a new knob for like 35-40 bucks. Alright, let's get her installed. The easiest way to do this is to actually remove both of these side pieces so you can gain access to underneath where the gasket touches the actual plastic of the console. So we're going to do that first. And this just has, you know, clips that go into the side. Very easy to remove. And then once you get to the last clip down here, which is a little tricky, you're going to want to rotate this out a little bit. And the whole thing should just pop off. There's a little plastic trim piece that you don't want to get out. I don't think you can see that behind the steering wheel. Yeah, basically that just slides out. And then same thing on this side. And by the way, this is exactly how you install this Redline phone mount, which screws into 2 spots in the PCM right there. Alright, so now everything is out. Probably the safest way is to do this by hand, but it's difficult to get leverage. Because it's made out of metal, it doesn't seem to be a particular order that it likes to come out in. I'm just kind of feeling around and whatever pops out by hand. So we've got this entire side liberated, but this one is a little bit wedged in. Alright, so there's a spot somewhere over here you can put this screwdriver in for leverage and gently pry it up for the more stubborn pieces. Now I know why they fast forward past this piece on every YouTube video. Ain't fun. There it is. Putting a little bit of tape here to protect the console. I'm gonna give this a shot another time here. Just need to get some leverage in here at the very end. Alright, there it is. Looks unscathed. Just super sweaty. The last 2 clips down here, actually, I don't know if you can see them, are connected to the ashtray, or right outside of the ashtray in this entire trim piece. And those gave me a lot of grief because I ended up starting up here instead of down here. But the one thing I want to just point out is that you can see the clips that put this in are actually metal. If you have the plastic trim or the fake, you know, chrome trim, these are little plastic tabs, and that piece is actually flexible, so you can just kind of flex it out. The aluminum trims are particularly difficult. I haven't seen the carbon fiber, but yeah, you got these tabs, and these are son of a guns. I'm gonna change my shirt. All right, we're back. Fresh clothes. That was quite labor intensive. Required a lot of weird positions and, you know, whole flexing for a long time. Alright, so the next thing I want to do is get rid of this shift knob. So the shift boot comes out pretty easily, and then once you get this boot off, you got to click this to the left. Like so. And you just yank up. Alright, there it is. Alright, so there's some clips holding it into the shift boot, which you want to remove. Just pops out. Alright, there it is. Now you're left with this piece in here, which is on the leather. Let's take a look here. What the hell are we doing? Literally just slid right off. Next thing you want to do is see kind of where you want this shift knob to be. So this Raceseng knob will be pretty much all the way down there. So maybe we'll put it flush, maybe a little bit higher than flush. I'm gonna get an Allen key and tighten these up. You got these nice and tight. Let's go ahead and test fit the knob. This particular knob, I didn't get it engraved with the shift pattern because this is the 7-speed and most of the engravings that they have are 6-speed, and that actually complicates how you line this all up. But long story short, let's go ahead and see where the height is going to be. It's going to be pretty low, actually. It's going to be nice. So next step is you want to mount the shift boot. Actually, I'm pretty pumped because I thought I was going to have to unglue things and do all sorts of weird stuff here, but this looks like once you're done with this knob, going back to stock is actually pretty easy. Use the same boot and everything and no issues whatsoever. So that's actually really nice. I want to line it up like so. Make sure it looks good. Get the provided zip tie. Just make sure everything fits correctly and isn't going to be fitting crooked. Now to cut this end piece, and we'll push this boot down. Push this guy down. Alright, perfect. And voila. Actually looks pretty nice. I'm pretty happy with it. Now let's get this knob on there, see what we got. Wow, you can really feel exactly where the engaged points are. It just rolls right in. I think we're gonna get this aluminum back on. Just work your way around until they all clip in. All done. All right, let's see how she drives. Is just a piece of cake now. So what's it like to drive? So there's three main differences in this new shift knob and all aftermarket shift knobs in general that completely change the way that the shifts feel. So the first is that the shifter becomes more rigid, which enables you to actually feel the shift gates. It takes a lot of the guesswork out of which gear you're engaging, and because your hand can actually feel exactly where you are. The second is it adds the ability to sidearm shift. So I don't know if you can tell here, I'm actually holding it sideways and it's got a really nice place for your thumb to rest. And so it eliminates a lot of these kind of like reach around motions that I had to do to get to 5 to 6 sometimes. And the spring would try to pop me back into 4th gear. But now I can resist the spring tension with my thumb coming, 5 to 6. It's just, you can pull it right into place. And lastly, and most importantly, is the heavier weight. So adding 400 grams to up to a kilogram, of mass to the knob makes the shift engage with momentum. It's much more linear, and the lever goes exactly where you want it to go instead of where the spring wants to guide you. This can theoretically increase shifting effort, especially if it's lower because you have less leverage. But I think overall, just improving where the actual guidance and the ability to have momentum in your shift far exceeds the a little bit added disadvantage of the weight. And I mean, come on guys, it's like not even a pound or two to shift into the gate. But overall, these key changes that I just mentioned really transform how the car shifts and kind of makes you feel like a complete boss when you're rolling through gears. It's really quite a worthwhile modification. Usually they're about $100 to $200, and I mean, it changes the experience of the car. So, you know, I'd highly recommend it. So overall, this mod really isn't for everybody because, you know, people may like what they get from Porsche right out of the box, which is really a fantastic product. Others may actually not like the look of an aftermarket piece in the car, but that's just personal preference. For me, I think Raceseng products look high quality and pretty aggressive, and the improved functionality is really the key here. The added driving control and the way it feels just make it a must-have for me and my vehicle. So I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you're new to the channel, give us a big thumbs up, click the subscribe button and notification bell for new content coming real soon. Have a great day.